Okay, moving from this creation to, I know, one of Hugh's favorite topics, and that is the next creation. Let's talk a little bit about that. We've talked a lot about the laws of physics for this creation. Give us some of your insights, Hugh, on
Well, let me just bring up an interpretive principle here, is that the key to the past might be through the future. And many theologians have gone before us, especially in the Reformed tradition, have made the point that the key to a successful creation theology is to integrate it with our theology of end times, eschatology, that the two work together. And this is a theme I think you see throughout the whole of the Bible. Creation and the new creation, creation and the promises of the kingdom of heaven. This is an integrated theological system. And I would argue many creation controversies that are plaguing the church today, that the pathway to resolution is to take our creation theology and integrate it with our eschatology. Make the two work together. And maybe you'll learn a lot about theology that's outside of creation and eschatology. There's a lot to be gained from using this approach.
Now, do you see some differences between the creation theology and what eschatology it leads you to as an old earth creationist versus a young earth creationist?
Yeah, this is something that's relatively new to me. I've always run into young earth creationists who believe that God was going to restore us to paradise. But I'm now finding that this may be a ubiquitous theme within young earth creationism, that God will be restoring us to paradise rather than delivering us from paradise.
So it'll be a restoration or kind of a reenactment of Eden?
Right, that the way Eden was is what we're going to receive when Christ finally conquers sin completely and finally, eliminating sin, that we will be ushered back into the conditions of paradise. And I think this is far more important for us as Christians to talk about than the physics of the age of the earth or what the Bible says about the creation days. You know, I've always taught that that's kind of a peripheral issue. But I think if we can get some resolution, is paradise going to be restored or is it going to be replaced? And by replace, I'm bringing up the theme that God is going to deliver us from the conditions of Eden to a place far superior to anything that was possible in the Garden of Eden. Is that the way Christian theology should go, or are we looking at restoration? Part of this debate is this universe eternal or is it temporal? Are the stars going to burn forever, or are they going to burn out?
Now, are we talking here about the Bible in Revelation calls the new heavens and new earth?
The new heavens and the new earth. Okay. Revelation 21 and 22. Position we're taking here at Reasons to Believe that this is a radically different creation than what we see revealed to us in Genesis 1.
I want you to tell us about that in a minute, but first I want to jump over to Ken and have him talk to us about these two positions, this restoration position versus replacement.
Is it paradise restored, or are we delivered from paradise to something far superior?
What has been the traditional Christian theology on this issue?
I don't think that many of the classical theologians of Christianity have viewed salvation as a return to Eden. I think that what we discover in many branches of Christendom is that redemption is a much higher state than Eden. Whether you regard Eden as a good state or a perfect state, let me take one example. It seems to me that in the eternal state, in the New Jerusalem, in the world to come, the Christian believer will be in a much higher state than Adam was before the fall. In the world to come, in the eternal state, we will be able to freely exercise our freedom. But because we are transformed into the image of Christ, we will never exercise sin. It seemed to me that Adam was not in that position. Adam could have chosen to obey or chosen to sin, but Adam was not in a point of being transformed into the image of Christ. I would argue on that basis alone that the state of redemption is a much higher state than Adam's state prior to the fall. Grace and salvation and forgiveness is a much preferred state than Adam before the fall.
Paul makes the point that no one can think or imagine how wonderful and great and good our reward will be in the kingdom of heaven. My problem with this restoration theology is that it is within the realm of what we can visualize as being good, whereas what God has promised us, according to 1 Corinthians 2:9 and passages in the Old Testament, is far, far beyond that.